Welcome back. It's a preview Saturday's Premier League match in West Bromwich Albion, Hull City at the Hawthorns. Finally starting with the home side, it'll be Tony Pulis' first league game in charge.
Yeah, big appointment for them, a very good one. I think you saw what he did again with Crystal Palace last season. No one was giving them a chance to stay up when Ian Holloway left, but he put them, I think it was 11th they finished in the end. Superb job he did with them. And if anyone's going to keep West Brom in the division, they're out of the relegation zone just at the moment. But if they're going to climb the table, Pulis is the man to do it. He makes his side so hard to beat. And his first game in charge, 7-0, obviously against Gateshead. He'll come up against much tougher opposition than that in the FA Cup. But it was a good start for them. Berahino, he got him firing with 4 goals, even though there's stuff about him not celebrating those goals. Whether he'll be off in January is another point to be made. But Tony Pulis is a great start for him, and I can only see them climbing the table with him in charge. A really good appointment for me.
I think the interesting with Pulis coming in is what he did to Palace. He immediately sort of tightened them up at the back, didn't he? I mean, as soon as he left, they opened up again. And I think with the players they've got there, like Les Scott, who's a good player, like Craig Dawson, who's got ability. He played well against Manchester United earlier in the season. If he can find a way to tighten them up at the back, Jonas Olsson as well, he's had his injury problems, but they can find a way to do that. I mean, their form has been terrible. They've only won 1 in the last 10 in the league, have scored 6 times, and that included they threw it away at QPR. I remember they went 2-0 up. Varela got on the score sheet, really good goal, and they play great football at times, but they're just so. We used to talk about inconsistency a lot, but they're so inconsistent with certain stages of the season, certain stages of the game. They can't put it together. But Pulis coming in, I think everyone agrees that he was out of work longer than we thought he would be. But he's such a good appointment, and I think he will keep them up.
Yeah, you couldn't see them blowing that 2-goal lead against QPR under Pulis, could you? And I think one thing he'll bring as well is improved form at the Hawthorns. They've only won twice at home all season, and when he was in charge of Palace, Selhurst Park became a bit of a fortress, and the opposition teams didn't want to go there. And Pulis, he can do that with home grounds. He can set up his team really well to defend. It's not always pretty what he does, but it's effective. And I think if he can get West Brom performing well at the Hawthorns as well, that would be the basis for them to climb the table, I think.
I think a few months ago they'd have fancied this game against Hull, wouldn't they? Hull were in terrible form, but they've started to pick up a little bit lately. Steve Bruce was under a bit of pressure, which is poor for me. I mean, he did so well last season, running the FA Cup and decent finish in the league. And they went on a 10-game winless run, but they've won 2 of their last 3 now. One of those was against Everton last time out, which is important. I mean, Everton, we all know their struggles at the moment, but still to pick up 3 points in that game against Everton, so important because the fans were starting to get on his back. And in the FA Cup was a little bit disappointing at Arsenal, but I think he rested a few players. I don't really think the FA Cup this season is Bruce's priority. Well, it's not his priority, that's for certain, with the team he picked, but Premier League to stay in is so important. But they need to be careful because they do go on sort of runs where they do lose a lot of games, so it'll be an interesting part of the season for them.
Yeah, that FA Cup one, I think he was forced into a lot of those changes. He made 10 overall. Curtis Davis, the only one to feature. And a lot of players did do well in that match. Harry Maguire did well in centre-back, so he could stay on. But he's got a lot of injury problems from that Everton game. It was a costly one. They did win the game, but it came at a price with a lot of injury, so that's going to be a problem for him. Away from, we mentioned West Brom's poor home form, but Hull have been even worse away from home. They've only won once since the opening day of the season on their travels, which they need to improve as well. So it's going to be an interesting match between 2 teams that are struggling for form, really.
So obviously, like you say, a very important game. What's your score prediction for this one?
Pulis' first league game in charge. I can't see anything other than the West Brom win, really. He likes to keep things tight. It won't be a thriller, I don't think, but I'm going to go for 1-0 to West Brom.
I could easily see West Brom winning, but I think it's going to be one of those games, unfortunately. I think it might be last on match of the day. I can't see a great game. I think it'll be a goalless draw. It's got a narrow win for West Brom and a 0-0 draw. Thanks for joining us.